welcome back to my channel, Beautiful Minutia. If you're new here, my name is Tiffany, and today I want to talk to you about the books that I hope to read in May. I say hope because I have been feeling very slumpy lately, and I just am not in the mood right now to really push myself through books that I'm absolutely hating. So there's a few books on here that have the potential to be ones that I might not enjoy, and so I am holding those books loosely, but there are some that I am fully committed to reading. One of those is one that I am reading for my in-person book club, and that is Surprised by Oxford by, I think, Carolyn Weber. I don't have a physical copy. I'm reading it digitally, but this is a memoir written by a young lady who was an atheist, and she attended Oxford, and I believe she came to faith during that time, which is a really interesting connection because C.S. Lewis also attended Oxford, and his memoir is Surprised by Joy, and this is Surprised by Oxford. So I'm fully expecting some literary Lewis tie-ins, and I'm really hoping that that's a part of it, but I am super intrigued by this and really excited to read it. For my Patreon book club, we will be reading Dandelion Wine by Ray Bradbury, and I'm so excited to read this one. Everything I have read by Bradbury so far, I have absolutely adored. Something Wicked This Way Comes made it into my top books of last year, and Dandelion Wine is part of that series. I use that loosely because I don't think that they need to be read in order or that they directly affect each other. I think it's more that they're set in the same area, but I'm pretty sure that this is about some boys in the summertime in Illinois. The back of it sounds really lovely. It says, the summer of 28 was a vintage season for a growing boy. A summer of green apple trees, mowed lawns, and new sneakers, of half-burnt firecrackers, of gathering dandelions, of grandma's belly-busting dinner. It was a summer of sorrows and marvels and gold-fuzzed bees. A magical, timeless summer in the life of a 12-year-old boy named Douglas Spalding, remembered forever by the incomparable Ray Bradbury. So, super looking forward to reading this one. I have been wanting to read another Bradbury ever since I finished the last one. If this is one that you're interested in reading, feel free to hop on over to my Patreon and join us. We'd love to have you. You probably already saw my announcement that we will be doing a Mist-along, aka reading all the Mistborn books for most of the rest of the year, starting in May with the initial Mistborn book, which this just says Mistborn on it. It should say The Final Empire because Mistborn is not the name of the first book, it's the name of the series. But yeah, so we'll be starting with the first book, and I'm really looking forward to it. I have read Era 1, which are books 1, 2, and 3, the original Mistborn trilogy, but I haven't read Era 2, which is the Wax and Wane books. There's 4 books in that, and it takes place hundreds of years after the first Mistborn trilogy, but it has the same magic system. So I'm really looking forward to rereading this, especially since I know the ending, because I think I will be very interested in seeing like all the breadcrumbs. And I haven't reread it since the first time I read it, but I absolutely loved it, so I'm really looking forward to it. Another buddy read that I have going on in May is My Antonia or My Antonia, depending on who you ask. Written by Willa Cather. This is book 3 in her Great Plains trilogy, of which I've only read book 1, but this is another series where the books are not sequential and they don't have the same characters, they're just set in the same area. So it doesn't really matter what order you read them in, but I'm really excited to read this one. I actually have this on my 5-star predictions. Check out that video if you haven't seen it, if you want to know all the books that I am reading that I really hope will be 5 stars this upcoming quarter, but this is one that I really think I'm gonna love. I have loved everything that I've read pretty much by Willa Cather, which so far has just been O Pioneers and a collection of her short stories, but I just adore her writing. The way that she writes nature and the way that she sets a place and really helps you understand characters in often only a few lines is absolutely brilliant and beautiful. So I am so looking forward to reading this one. I highly anticipate this being my favorite of her works, but I guess we'll see. Also, I forgot to mention that I'm reading this with Christy Lewis from Dostoevsky in Space. Those are the books that I am like really excited for, so I'm fairly certain I'm gonna read all of those. But the other books, I do have other books planned, and I'm holding them a bit more loosely because I really want to enjoy my reading. And a lot of times I can read things and follow a reading schedule and be totally fine and even if I'm not loving it, I can still read it and it doesn't make me slumpy. I've just been slumpy lately, so I'm trying to read more things that I enjoy. So I'm really, really excited for the first few of those books, and the rest of them I still am really interested in reading, but again, holding them a bit more loosely. So a book that I'm supposed to be reading with Christy and Stephanie, and at the time of filming this video, I don't think Stephanie started it. I know Christy has, and Christy's not loving it, so I don't really know how I'm gonna feel about it. But that's Oblomov by Ivan Goncharov, and I don't even know where I put my copy. I was supposed to start it in April, and obviously I didn't. So that's one that I'm really interested in. It sounds hilarious. Like, it's about a man who's so lazy that he just doesn't even want to get out of bed, and it sounds really, really funny. So I really hope that I like it. This is Russian literature, as you could probably tell by the title, by an author that I've never read anything by or really heard very many people talk about. Another book that I was supposed to start in April, and I did, but I didn't get that far, is Moby Dick. And this is a book that is really stretching me mentally, partly because of the prose, but also because I am feeling a little slumpy, like I mentioned. So I'm taking my time with this book. I'm reading it at a much slower pace than I originally anticipated, and I'm just gonna be fine with that. And if I feel like I'm really, really hating it every time I pick it up, at this point I'll DNF it and try it again later, because it is one that I do really want to read. I feel like so far it's really well written, and I feel like the prose is really beautiful, but it requires more concentration from me, and so as a result, I have been reading it a lot slower. For my Read or Rid project, I have been using Chantel's Read Your Bookshelf Challenge for that, and I don't even remember what the prompt was for May. I really don't, and I don't even have my notebook with me, so I don't know. I'll put it on the screen. But anyways, the book that I am going to read for that, hopefully, is Slaughterhouse-Five by Kurt Vonnegut. I haven't read anything by him, and I own like 3 of his books, and I just need to read it. I've heard really mixed things about this. Some people who I really align with didn't really like this book. So this is one of those books that I want to try, and I'm okay with just getting a taste, and if I don't like it, just being like, meh, that's fine, and not finishing it. I know that this book is very anti-war, and I don't really know much else besides that. I know that Vonnegut often writes satirically, and I don't know if this is supposed to be a satire or not, or if it's supposed to be more serious. I haven't really done any research on that. The last book that I have on this list is the one that I have slated this month for my classics TBR. I decided I was just going to schedule them all out, 1 book per month, to make it easier for myself and for anyone who might be interested in joining me. And the book that I have for May is The Keeper of the Bees by Gene Stratton Porter. So far, the only Gene Stratton Porter book that I have read is The Girl of the Limberlost, which I've read multiple times, and I have some issues with the book as a whole, but I love Gene Stratton Porter's nature writing, and the fact that this is about bees and it's got all these flowers on the front makes me think that this will be a really perfect springtime read with some more like atmospheric nature writing. At least that's my hope. On the back of it, it says that this is actually the last novel that she completed before her death, and it's the tale of a wounded World War I veteran, a beekeeper, and an impish tomboy, all helped by each other. A book that examines the healing power that nature and kindness can have upon someone's life. So this sounds lovely, and I'm not as excited about this as I am about some of the other books that are on my list, but it sounds perfectly atmospheric. So I think that there's a really good chance that I will end up getting to this one and enjoying it. That's it for my official May TBR. And like I said, there's a few of these books that I'm for sure reading no matter what. And then there are some books that are kind of like in the sidelines that I didn't mention in this, as well as I always do a vlog for my patrons every month where I take a book that they have suggested and I read it and I vlog my experience, and then they get that to see my full thoughts on whatever book they suggested to me. So I have not yet decided what book I'm reading for that. I'll probably put up a poll and let them decide and tell me what they think. And then I have a few other books. I have some manga series that I'm currently in the middle of, and just some other books that are kind of like intriguing me right now. So I want to leave space open for me to be able to read those if I would like to. I'd love to hear from you in the comments down below. What are you planning to read in May? Are you participating in any readathons? Are you reading Mistborn with us? Is there anything that you're super excited about reading? Or if you have any thoughts about any of the books that I'm planning to read, I would love to hear those as well. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please hit like and also subscribe so you can continue to see more bookish content from me, and I will see you again next time.